Welcome, welcome back to Normal Baseball. Today we got another Will Be. We got the Miami Marlins. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex, Normal Dog. That's Lewis. Today, we're back with another Will Be, is what we're calling these. These are basically team projections for the 2022 regular season. And today, we got the Miami Marlins.
Before anything, we have to remember that they just unveiled their new uniforms for next season. Sandy absolutely is the only man on earth that can pull off this fit while pitching. So that'll be fun to see.
Not necessarily new for next season. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Well, anyway, so I kind of love this team. I'm kind of in love with this team. Looking at them on paper, I feel like they're going to be a very fun team to watch and a very sleeper team to watch. We can get into it. They added Jorge Solaire, Avaceo Garcia, Jacob Stallings in a trade, and they have a very good pitching staff. So this team could be sneaky good next year.
Yeah. I mean, they made some very good additions. Obviously, not everything that they wanted to do, and along with their young talent of Jazz Chisholm, Sandy Alcantara, and a few of their other guys, it will be exciting.
Yeah, and you mentioned him, Jazz Chisholm. I mean, he's the big young star, 24-year-old. He was fun to watch last year, the Euro step onto home plate. I mean, just a fun guy to watch. And he's going to be...
He's my second favorite young guy in baseball.
Who's your first?
Soto.
Right, makes sense.
But he's just he's a class of his own. I mean, he's just such a fun guy, entertaining guy. He really... he's exactly what baseball needs.
I agree. And his energy matches the kind of game that they're playing today, nowadays. Last season, he played 124 games for the Marlins. Batted .250, had a 728 OPS. So not a terrible season whatsoever for a guy in his second year and who only played 20 games in the year before. I think he's going to be a spectacle this year. I think it's going to be really fun.
That's completely fair to say. I mean, we've already seen it at the time of recording this. I mean, I just got on my Instagram feed all the pictures and videos of him practicing in a ice cream themed glove with the chains out, the clean shades. I mean, the guy is just energetic.
Well, without a doubt, he is the most. He's got one of the best swags in baseball. That wasn't the right wording. He's got some of the most swag in baseball right now.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to watch. It really is.
Without a doubt. I mean, the guy, he makes it so entertaining to even just go to a Marlins game.
Yeah.
I mean, not to discredit them.
No, not at all. And especially this year over last year. I mean, this year it's going to be even more fun with guys like World Series MVP Jorge Solaire. I think a lot depends on which Jorge Solaire they get this year. Obviously, they signed him to a pretty big contract. So we'll see how it pans out, because on the Royals last year, he wasn't having a great year. He's batting 192, had a 650 OPS. I mean, just not the Jorge Solaire we know. In 94 games, he had 13 home runs, and then once he got traded to the Braves, it was the complete opposite. I mean, he was hitting 269, had almost a 900 OPS, and hit 14 home runs in 55 games. So he was a completely different guy on the Braves, and if he can bring that to not Kansas City, my bad. If he can bring that to Miami, then they got something good there.
Yeah, he's a great pickup, especially with the DH in the NL. think we'll see a lot of him just picking up that role, which will be fun. I mean, the moonshots in
In that stadium,
Lone Depot Park
yeah, it's gonna be
will
fun.
be fun. Do they still open the back wall?
No, that wall doesn't open anymore.
All right, so over under 1.5 windows broken by Jorge Solaire home runs.
Under their actual
Under.
windows, they're not gonna get broken. They're
Anybody that is the solar powered Jorge Solaire.
no, absolutely not. Although, speaking of their two new additions in the outfield, left field and right field, they got Avaceo Garcia, also really good. He was on the Brewers last year. They signed him pre-lockout last year with the Brewers. He hit 262 with an 820 OPS, 29 homers, 18 doubles, 86 RBIs. So a really good player to have in your outfield as well.
Yes, without a doubt.
My question for you is, will Jorge Soler and Avaceo Garcia combine for over or under 59.5 home runs?
Ooh. I mean, like we said, it depends on what Jorge Solaire they get. I'm going to be faithful and say over.
Okay, over. I'm also going to say over, and let that be known that is a completely biased over.
Without a doubt.
Saying it mostly because I love the Marlins, and I have no shame in that. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say. The pitching of this team is a lot better than some people think. I mean, their starting rotation, projected rotation, Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Trevor Rogers, Jesus Luzardo, and Sixto Sanchez. So that is a very young rotation and a very good rotation at that, too. What do you think of that rotation?
I think it's good. It's young, like you said. And I'm happy to see what comes of it because obviously this isn't a year where they're going to go out and try to win it all, but developing that young talent because it really is like talent, they can really develop something nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people are undermining this and not really paying attention to these exact signings because the Marlins are kind of one of those under the radar teams who obviously don't get as much fan attendance drawn to their games, but if they could pull some more people in this year, play when it matters against teams that are better than them or thought to be better than them, if they could prove themselves against those teams, they could have a decent year lining up here.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely no longer the pushover team of the NL East. I definitely see them putting up a fight even against some of the best teams in baseball. I mean, they really and it's not just because they don't have a perfect lineup. You know, they're not no Dodgers, but I think that just the charisma and the energy that's going to be going on in that stadium all the time with the players, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be like a bunch of guys going out to play ball, not a bunch of guys going out trying to win a World Series.
Yeah,
and that's what's just going to make it entertaining.
The team is full of charisma, and obviously it's headed by Miguel Rojas, who's really the leader of that clubhouse, and really just brings all of them together. Love the guy. He plays very. I love the way he plays. Everything about him I like. Hard not to like him. He's been there for a while too. And
I mean, Miguel Rojas, Jazz Chisholm, Jorge Soler, Jesus Aguilar, another one, Jacob Stallings. It will be very fun to see him catching. The team has some names that baseball fans are very familiar with, that baseball fans have come to love. And it's just a matter of can they put it together.
Now that you mentioned it, Jacob Stallings, they got him from the Pirates. They got rid of Zach Thompson, who was obviously a pretty good starting pitcher. But they got Jacob Stallings in return, and I think that's going to be a very good addition for them too, as long as, again, Stallings can prove that last season wasn't just a flash in the pan, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, Stallings can be good. He won a Gold Glove last year in his first basically full season of playing in the majors, which was fun. He had some very good flashes of power, very good flashes of just being able to hit. However, he did finish the season only batting like 240-ish, right around there.
But
But
that's
I
still
think
not bad for a
his
catcher.
potential, yeah, for a catcher, it's great. And I think his potential to do better was all dependent on his situation. And now that he's out of Pittsburgh, I think down there in the sunshine on the Miami beaches, I think he'll be having a lot more of a fun time.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. I mean, he was fun to watch on the Pirates last year, mostly because not many people knew his name, and he seemingly came out of nowhere. And now,
Yeah,
just like that, he gets traded. He was thought to have some very high value due to last season, and now he's a Miami Marlin. We knew it was coming. We knew he was going to get traded.
yes, without a doubt.
He's like a little older, and what used to the Pirates
32, I
have?
think.
What used to the Pirates have for him? Not much. Um,
Nothing. And I mean, this makes the Marlins better, which is great.
oh, without a doubt.
Ooh.
Um,
So it'll be fun
and
to see.
they really picked up on their lineup. I mean, their pitching was not the main problem last year. They were 13th in ERA, which isn't that bad. 16th in WHIP, which middle of the league. Their walks per nine were up there. Strikeouts per nine was 12th, so that's not bad. Hits per nine was 11th. Home runs per nine was 11th. That was for starters. Their relief pitching had the seventh best ERA in baseball, the eighth best WHIP, fifth best walks per nine. Not many strikeouts, and they didn't give up home runs. The second best home runs per nine. Their hitting, on the other hand, was not great. Watch this. Ready? Average 28th, on base percentage 29th, OPS 29th, runs 29th, home runs 28th. Nothing good. And then their stolen bases were fourth, which they still have their flashy speed guys on the team. So
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that all those, the triple slash numbers are going to get raised with the kids that they got playing down there. And I only call them kids, not to be disrespectful, but literally, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be like watching a little league team that's so much better than everybody else type of deal. Like they're just having fun. You're going to see it. I can guarantee you that Jazz Chisholm will come up with some fancy little thing to do in the dugout after anyone hits a home run, like what the Padres did last year with the Slam Diego chain. I just feel like we're going to see something like that out of Jazz Chisholm and the Marlins, just to really bring up the spirits of everybody playing.
yeah, they're gonna have, like you said, they're gonna have those types of guys, and they're gonna have fun, fun moments and everything. I don't see why this team wouldn't. They made the moves in the right spots. They got pitching. They got hitting, and that's what they needed.
Yeah.
Obviously, they lost Starling Marte, who was traded midseason and all that to the A's, but they get back Jorge Solaire and Avaceo Garcia. I think it's safe to say Avaceo Garcia is going to have a good year, and if Jorge Solaire can do what he did in Atlanta, it's going to be a problem. And you can't forget about also Jesus Aguilar, who's been on that team for a while, and he's almost like another veteran in addition to Miguel Rojas. He also
Yeah.
switched to the number 99, which any player wears the number 99, I respect.
Without a
Um,
doubt. I mean, everything is trending upwards for the Miami Marlins this season, which is very, very nice to see. I think we're going to see them, obviously. I mean, I don't want to say obviously, but I mean, I think we see them coming in fourth place. I don't think they can do too much with the powerhouse of the rest of the NL East. But how many wins do you think they're going to get, or what's the over under? Let's go there.
their over under for wins is 76.5. I have them at over because I think this team is going to be sneakily good. If they can figure some of their stuff out and some of their younger players can pick it up, they could be good because they have the pitching for it.
Huh. That's funny because I have down here, like on my own little sheet, I have them at 75 wins, so I'll take the under.
Okay. So we got over and an under. I see a world where they are third in the division at the end of the year. I'm not
If
saying it's likely, but I see it up there. You know?
yeah, I mean, if history does repeat itself as it has many of times in the NL East, where teams tend to crumple, you know, I could see it happening if the Marlins get hot at the right time.
Yeah, me too. And I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, this team's gonna be exciting. And if it's a team, if they're not only exciting but can also win, that'll be an issue.
Oh yeah, because I mean, they seem to be that type of team, sort of like the Cardinals were last year, where if they get a couple wins under their belt, no one really thinks too much of it, and then you realize that these guys are literally just going out there and having fun. Like, obviously they're trying to win, but that's almost secondary to just having fun. Then they could turn into a problem very fast. Obviously, I don't think that they can make the playoffs this year, but they could turn into that thorn in the side of the entire Eastern divisions, where once you were going down to Miami and everyone thought, okay, chill weekend in Miami, yeah, we have to beat up on the Marlins, is going to turn into, oh shit, we got to play the Marlins. Everyone get into practice an extra hour early.
Yeah, and like you said, maybe not this year. Maybe in a couple of years they'll be like they could be that pesky thorn this year, but in the next couple of years they could be a legitimate contender. I mean, if we want to look at some of their prospects, these are prospects from last year. We got Max Meyer, who was the 19th overall prospect last year, the first in their org. Sixto Sanchez, who is going to be in the rotation this year. Edward Cabrera, who we saw a couple times last year. Of course, a lot of people know him from MLB The Show.
Yeah.
But he should be up a decent amount this year, and he's got stuff. And they got a
He's
decent.
one of those guys.
They got a good farm system. Like they're a very young team. And if they
And it seems like they can develop the talent pretty okay. If I mean, they have a few guys who came through their system already, and it looks like everything is moving in the right direction for their prospects.
exactly, it looks like it's just an upward trajectory because that's
Which
what it
is
seems like.
great to see.
Oh, it is. It's great. They've really in the last 4 years since trading Giancarlo Stanton have, I don't want to say figured it out, but they are starting. You can sort of see where they're putting some pieces together. And
Yeah.
obviously Jeter wanted out, which is another big part of their offseason. Jeter,
Oh yeah, they did lose their Hall of Fame shortstop.
Jeter, of course, Jazz Chisholm's mentor, a guy that Jazz Chisholm looked up to. He left because he didn't like the way the organization was running. They didn't want to spend as much money as he wanted to.
And I think that's just proof of, for anybody who wants to hate on Jeter and say that he was bad at defense or whatever. I mean, the guy always wanted to compete, and that competitive spirit never left him, even though he left the game of baseball. And that was one example, is he wanted to go out there and get the best team possible, and the team said no. So he packed up his things and left. Which obviously, here in the Bronx, we would never do that to you. Feel free to come back. We could use an opening day shortstop.
All right, this not about the Yankees right now. This is about the Marlins. But yeah, so like you said, it wasn't going as fast enough for him. But I do think it's going. I just think it's going slower than he wanted.
Yeah,
However,
definitely
I
the
do think it's
pace-
getting somewhere.
There was a lack of communication on what was going to happen entirely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So where do you think Jazz Chisholm lands this year? Do you think he'll have, obviously he's a speedy guy. Do you think he'll have over or under 7 triples or 6.5 triples?
I'm gonna say over, just because Lone Depot Park has that really big right center field gap. And I mean, if Freddie can hit a triple there, no reason as to why Jazz can't.
I'm gonna say over as well because he had like 4 last year. I don't see why he can't have more this year. I'm very high on him.
Completely agree. What about do you have the line for stolen bases for him? I feel like that would be a fun line to look at.
Projected stolen bases 22. So that's something to look at. He's also projected to hit 22 homers.
Two's all around.
2's all around. He is a fan of the number 2. He does wear it.
That is true.
So yeah. I mean, there's not much else to the Marlins. I mean, that pitching rotation we said, Sandy Alcantara's, I think, a guy to watch. Him.
How about this? Does he finish above or below top 5 in Cy Young voting?
Below top 5 because there's just too many good pitchers in baseball.
That's
However,
fair. But why is Sandy Alcantara not one of them? He's a
he
he's
could be.
just as
He
good.
could be. I'm just saying. Right now, he's not. In my opinion,
Fair enough.
not top.
I think you could finish number 5.
Well, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I don't think he
No, I know
will
what you're
with
saying.
the different arms in baseball. I mean, do you think over or under 200 strikeouts? I mean, last year he had 201. So, do you think he'll do it again?
Give me the over. I'm a Marlins believer.
Me too. I'm gonna also take the over. These are all completely biased because we love the Marlins with all our
No,
hearts.
bias never here.
And I don't really see much else to talk about here. I mean, Alcantara, the lines are moving. It's just everything's kind of just happening. I don't. It's the Marlins. Who do you think their team MVP is going to be? We'll end it with this.
Um, wow, that's a difficult question.
I know there's a
You
lot of
know,
guys.
like my heart wants to say Jazz just because he's the young guy and like the exciting guy and charismatic. But then I also want to say Jorge Solaire because we saw him just mash baseballs all postseason. But I'm gonna stick with my gut here and just go with Jazz.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna go Sandy Alcantara. Um,
A good pick.
part of that rotation, that deadly rotation. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for the Marlins.
Wraps it up.
Anything else? We'll be at a couple Marlins games this year, so that should be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it. That should do it for this. This will be for the Miami Marlins. So let me
Go
ask you this:
Marlins.
the 2022, let's go Marlins. The 2022 Miami Marlins will be in
4th place.
fourth
What about you?
place.
What about you?
I'm gonna go with third because I want
Ooh.
to be out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that'll do it. So
Ooh.
let's go Marlins once again, and we'll see you next time with I believe the Chicago Cubs.
Ends up.
All right, peace.